But first, Australia's secret health epidemic. One person diagnosed every 6 hours. Tonight we join the dedicated team of scientists battling time and a lack of funding to find a cure.
And they told me I don't need to worry.
She was so brave and so courageous, she kind of threw down the gauntlet to me to do something. So here I am.
It was really the last thing in the world that I ever expected.
3 or 4 times a week now I get phone calls from patients and their families, and I find it hard. Not because of the disease or what they're going through. I find it hard that I don't have the answers to give them.
These are the faces of 3 little-known heroes. A tiny band of fighters coming face to face with the devastating effect of one of Australia's biggest killers, brain cancer.
If we had the funding, would we see breakthroughs?
We would be doing some fantastic things.
What cells are you using?
Dr. Kerry McDonald is one of the crusaders. In a busy lab at the University of New South Wales, she leads a small team of scientists developing worldwide breakthroughs for brain cancer sufferers.
We go up to theatres and we collect the tumour. We run the tumour back. We literally do run the tumour back to the lab, and we pull the tumour apart. So we'll have a piece of tumour frozen in the freezer, but we also put it into the mice as well. And then what we do is we treat the mice. And then if we can actually see that tumour shrink in real time, we'll report that back to the clinician as soon as possible. We also have...
But for all her research, Dr. McDonald says progress is slowed down by a dire lack of funding.
I mean, I look on the breast cancer movement in awe, but they're survivors of the disease. With brain cancer, there are no survivors.
The statistics are staggering. Every 6 hours, at least one Australian is diagnosed with a brain tumour. It's now the leading cause of cancer death for young adults and children under the age of 10. It's understudied and largely unknown, and in its most malignant form, it's 100% fatal.
A lot of people actually don't know that it's the most expensive cancer to get as well. And it strikes people in their prime, and that's just not fair.
They showed us on the screen she had a 5-centimetre brain tumour in her frontal lobe.
Barry Littlefield didn't see it coming. At just 9 years of age, his bright and bubbly daughter Eloise was diagnosed with a tumour normally found in adults.
How long did she have from the diagnosis?
She had 17 months, which was longer than usual. She was a lovely girl, always smiling. And the most amazing thing was she never really lost that.
Moved by his unimaginable loss, Barry didn't want to see more children die. He now works for the Cure Brain Cancer Foundation, started by Charlie Teo, and uses Eloise's story to raise awareness around the country.
I do think about her a lot during the day, every day, but rarely do I think about her in a negative way. She was very resilient, and so I think I owe it to her to do what I'm doing.
I think we should do the City to Surf again. I don't remember any of it. I woke up in hospital and just sort of filtered news that, oh, we think it might be something in there, and sort of scarily came out that, yes, we think it's a brain tumour.
Shalom Andrews has spent 8 years living with brain cancer. As a young, fit and healthy 33-year-old, she was diagnosed with a low-grade tumour after randomly collapsing at the gym.
It was absolutely out of the blue. We'd just been on our honeymoon to France for a month, and so it was the last thing on my mind.
The tumour is a ticking time bomb that could turn deadly at any moment. It's a frustrating wait for Shalom, and she has limited information on how these low-grade tumours develop.
The doctors found it very hard to explain it. It was a million-dollar question as to why it was there, whether it would grow, at what pace it would grow. The problem with low-grade tumours is that Australia doesn't support the certain chemotherapy that you need for that type of tumour. It's been approved by the TGA, but the PBS hasn't. So it's extremely expensive should patients want to go that direction.
So patients with low-grade tumours have to pay for their own chemotherapy?
Yeah, that's right.
Shalom makes every day count. Following her diagnosis, she wrote a bucket list that included starting her own brain cancer foundation, Higher Thinking.
You just don't know how much time's left. No one can give you a definitive answer on prognosis when you have a low-grade tumour. But in my case, I just decided to keep moving on and fulfil all the things that I wanted to do.
What is the most important thing that needs to change?
We need to get everybody aware of how serious it is. We really need 100 times more money than we're raising at the moment. If we carry on doing what we're doing, we'll be sitting here in 40 years from now having the same conversation after a whole lot more children have died.
I think it's a race against time, personally, and that's why, you know, funding now is just so important.
If you want to help, you can find more information on where to donate on our website.